Hi, my name is Kate Barlow, and I'm going to be talking about the updates to the Learn the Signs Act Early program. The Learn the Signs Act Early mission is to improve early identification of developmental delays by facilitating parent-engaged developmental monitoring, and this will hopefully increase the amount of developmental screening being done so children can receive services as early as possible. Developmental monitoring is not the same as developmental screening. Developmental screening can be completed by physicians, clinicians, and teachers with specialized training. Developmental monitoring, however, is a public health tool that can be used by everyone in the community, including parents. Here are some updates to the developmental milestones checklist. They were revised to increase clarity, to reduce the wait and see approach, and increase the amount of referrals. The checklists now follow the American Academy of Pediatrics recommended well child visits by adding the 15 and 30-month checklists. The new checklist also reduces the number of milestones per checklist from around 22 to 13. And now there are no more two columns. On the old checklist, there was one set of milestones to be looking for that were around the 50th percentile, and there was another set of milestones in the purple box that were the red flag milestones. The new checklists are all red flag milestones now. So if a child misses one milestone, they should be referred. The milestones also were replaced about 40%. There are also 65 new milestones. All the milestones selected for the checklist were supported by evidence and expert agreement. The milestones that were removed had little or no normative data regarding when milestones should be achieved by 75% of the children. For example, crawling was removed because of the literature reviewed. There was little or no normative data available to recommend inclusion on a checklist. Here we see an example of the old checklist on the left and a new checklist on the right. So on the left, you can see we had the look for milestones that were around the 50th percentile, as well as the purple box that had the milestones that were 75 percentile or more. The new checklists are all milestones at the 75th percentile or more. So an example of what changed. Rolling was on the 4-month checklist as a looking for milestone. It was also on the 6-month checklist as a red flag milestone. Now it is only on the 6-month checklist as a red flag milestone. So the old checklists, we were flagging at 75th percentile or more, and the new checklist, we are still flagging at 75 percentile or more. Here's another example. The old checklist begins to sit without support on the 6-month checklist around the 50th percentile for a looking for milestone. On the 9-month checklist, it had sits without support on the left column as a milestone to be looking for, and doesn't sit with help was in the purple box on the 9-month checklist. Now sits without support is only on the 9-month checklist. Here's an example of some milestones that were transferred to an older age, which I think is causing some confusion. For example, transfers object was on the 6-month checklist as a looking for a milestone around the 50th percentile, and it was also on the 9-month checklist in the purple box as a flag. Now it is only on the 9-month checklist. Here are some more skills that have caused possibly some confusion because on social media, it is saying how the milestones have changed from 50th percentile to 75th percentile. So the skills that you see on the left, such as cruising, it was on the old checklist as a looked for milestone at the 50th percentile on the 12-month checklist. Now it is still on the 12-month checklist. However, now it is a red flag if the child is not able to cruise at 12 months. And here are some skills to get excited about. bang two things together was on the old checklist at around 50th percentile as a look for at 12 months, and now it is on the 9-month checklist as a red flag. So if a child is not able to bang two things together at 9 months, the child should be referred. The new checklist also reduced confusion. On the old checklist, there was a lot of skills that required pointing, and here is a graph of all of those skills. However, on the new checklist, there are only 4 times that pointing is on the checklist, and hopefully this will reduce confusion. There are also 65 new milestones, and here are some examples of the new milestones. The milestones were revised by an interprofessional team in 2019, and this was not as a result of COVID. The milestone revisions, like all tools, there are some limitations. The CDC surveillance tools are not developmental screeners or pre-screeners. The developmental milestone checklists are not validated, and they are not inclusive of all potential milestones. But surveillance is more than milestones or checklists. Remember, these are a communication tool to begin the conversation, talking with parents, teachers, clinicians. Let's talk about the concerns that we have for the child so that the child can be referred as soon as possible if there are concerns. And as a reminder, this is a schedule of the well child visits recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. From birth to 5 years of age, there are 4 times that the child is recommended to be screened. Hopefully, these developmental monitoring checklists will raise concerns and increase the amount of screening that is being done by the pediatricians. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please contact your CDC ambassador, and here is the link to find out who your ambassador is. And also, please check out the Zubler and colleagues article that explains all of the updates. It is a free article available to all, and this is the link. Thank you again for listening, and I hope that you will read the Zubler article. Thank you.